4 weeks removed from the thrilling 33-30 Broncos Monday night win over the Chiefs, and they stroll into Arrowhead in a must-win game for Kansas City. And look who's back. Patrick Mahomes leading the Chiefs. Opening drive, Keenum with the play fake looking to throw, and it's the Chiefs who strike first blood as Ron Parker, playing center field, makes the interception and brings it back across midfield to the Chiefs 45, and Parker's third interception of the year immediately helps the Chiefs set up shop. We're on 3rd and 5. Mahomes finds Travis Kelce over the middle, who bowls his way forward to the Chiefs 22 for a pickup of 18. But 3 plays later, Mahomes looking to throw, but nowhere to go as Von Miller gets in for the sack, giving him a league-leading 9.5 on the year, and the Harrison Butker field goal from 38 yards out is up and good to give the Chiefs the early lead. Later in the first, Keenum completes his first pass of the game to a diving Deshaun Hamilton for 16 yards and a first down. 6 plays later, Keenum with the play fake and looking to throw, moves out of the pocket to his right before throwing back to the middle of the field and hitting Royce Freeman for another pickup of 16 to move the chains. Then on the next play, it's Broncos rookie Royce Freeman taking it in from 12 yards out to put the Broncos out in front 7-3. But to start the second quarter, Chiefs answering back as Mahomes play fakes and hits Tyreek Hill on the crosser for 12 yards and a first down. 2 plays later, Mahomes fits one into a tight window to tight end Travis Kelce for 11 more yards and another first down. And then on the next play, Mahomes play fakes, gets good protection, and floats one deep to Sammy Watkins, who torched the Broncos in the first matchup. He breaks the tackle, taking it down to the 3 for 48 yards. Where on the very next play, Damian Williams walks into the end zone for his first touchdown of the season and a 10-7 Chiefs lead. Ensuing drive, 3rd and 8, Keenum fires and hits Jeff Hireman for 13 yards and tack on 15 to the end of it as Eric Murray gets nailed for the face mask penalty. But on 3rd and 4, the defense makes the stop as Eric Berry nearly picks off the Keenum pass. Broncos send out Brandon McManus, who unlike Randy Bullock is not affected by teleporting referees, and he bangs it in from 56 yards out, and we're tied at 10. After a Chiefs 3-and-out, Denver back to work as Keenum play fakes, breaks away from a D Ford sack, and somehow fits it into Demaryius Thomas for an 18-yard catch. Then 3 plays later, it's Keenum to Thomas again, who this time dives to make a 16-yard catch and move the chains. But on the next play, look out as Ron Parker blazes into the backfield and engulfs Keenum for the sack. Following the sack, the Chiefs stuff the Broncos again, but yet again a face mask penalty is going to cost the Chiefs, and it gives the Broncos 15 yards and a first down, and the Broncos would capitalize on the mistake as on 3rd and 5, Keenum finds a wide open Jeff Hireman for 14 yards and a first down. Then on 3rd and 4, Keenum looks to throw, starts to scramble before deciding to drop an absolute dime to Cortland Sutton, who holds on, surviving the Eric Berry hit to put the Broncos up 17-10 just before half. Out of the 2-minute warning, Chiefs looking to answer back, and Mahomes lays one right on the money to a diving Travis Kelce for 25 yards into Denver territory. Then on the next play, Mahomes looks to throw again and fires deep for Sammy Watkins, who makes the catch at the 10 before being taken down at the 3, setting up 1st and goal. And with 20 seconds left in the first half, Damian Williams walks in for the 2nd time, and just like the first, we end the second quarter tied, this time at 17. But then early in the 3rd and 11, and Mahomes is going to be hit as he throws, and for the first time since week 1, he's going to be picked off by Brandon Marshall, who bowls his way through nearly every man on the field and does the stamina stagger down to the 15. Patrick Mahomes would once again be injured on this play and would not return. Update after the game. Broncos looking to capitalize on the turnover, and after a false start, Keenum play fakes and finds Emmanuel Sanders for 18 yards to set up 1st and goal. And 2 plays later, it's Keenum floating one up to Demaryius Thomas on the fade for the 2-yard score to put the Broncos back up by 7. But first play of the ensuing drive, Henny now in the game, and he floats his first pass to a wide open Sammy Watkins, who makes the catch and breaks tackles before being dragged down by his face mask to tack 15 more onto the 39-yard catch. Then 3 plays later, it's Henny back to who else but Sammy Watkins, having a huge day as he takes the catch down to the 1, and for the 3rd time sets Kansas City up with a 1st and goal. And just as he did on the first 2 times, it's Damian Williams on the toss, taking it in for his 3rd rushing score of the game, and halfway through the 3rd, we're once again tied. After a Broncos punt, Chiefs back with the ball, and Henny play fakes, rolls to his right where he looks for Tyreek Hill, but it's Bradley Roby cutting under the route for the interception, and just like that, the Broncos offense is back in business. But on 3rd and 3, the Chiefs defense holds strong as they stop Royce Freeman just shy of the marker, and on 4th and 1, Denver sends out Brandon McManus, who nails the 34-yard field goal and puts Denver back out in front. Ensuing possession, and Henny keeps the Chiefs drive alive as he hits Travis Kelce over the middle for 13 yards and a first down as we enter the 4th quarter, where on 3rd and 10, Henny finds a wide open Chris Conley over the middle for 24 yards to once again convert. Then 2 plays later, Henny with good protection is able to fire downfield to Tyreek Hill for 25 more yards and a 1st and goal. Then on 3rd and goal from the 4, the Chiefs pass, and it's Henny to Kelce for the score, and the Chiefs take their first lead since going up 3-0 early in the 1st quarter. And 2 plays into the ensuing drive, Keenum with another mistake as he goes deep for Demaryius Thomas, but it's Kendall Fuller picking off the pass, and the Chiefs offense takes right back over. And on 3rd and 7, Henny is able to find Tyreek Hill on the crosser over the middle, and he makes the catch, makes a move, breaks a tackle, and takes the short catch for 28 yards near midfield. But on the next play, Damian Williams runs for 1, maybe 2, but holding on the play makes it 1st and 20, where the give once again goes to Damian Williams, who gets back 8 of the 10 penalty yards, but another holding penalty pushes the Chiefs back to 1st and 30. And on 3rd and 31, Henny gets good protection and has a chance to convert as Travis Kelce is wide open, but he overthrows him, so the Chiefs have to punt. But following the punt, 3rd and 10, Keenum looking to throw, but Case, what are you doing? Case, no, avoids 1 sack, but gets hit for the safety to push the Chiefs lead up to 6. Chiefs go 3 and out, and the Broncos push back again, but this time Keenum hits Devontae Booker, who just gets past the marker for a first down. But 2 plays later, Keenum looking to throw, starts to escape the pocket and could have just scrambled for a first down, but decides to chuck it deep, but it's Steven Nelson there to pick it off. Keenum's 3rd of the game, and with 3:37 to go, the Chiefs take back over, but they would go 3 and out, giving it right back to Keenum and the Broncos, who hits Deshaun Hamilton for 7 yards on 3rd and 4. Broncos hurry everyone to the line, and it's Keenum looking to throw, and it's Hamilton again, this time for 23 yards and a first down near midfield. Again rushing to the line, it's Keenum throwing to Hireman, but only for 4 yards into Kansas City territory. Broncos continue to hurry, and it's Keenum back to Hireman for 13 more to the 35. 3 timeouts to spare. Broncos don't care, continue to hurry, and with a minute to go, it's Keenum to Hireman again for 10, but he's marked down inbounds, so the clock and the Broncos continue to run, and with 43 seconds to go, Keenum takes the snap, looks to throw with great protection, moves to his right before throwing back across his body to a wide open Emmanuel Sanders, who makes the catch in the back of the end zone, and with 33 seconds to go, the Broncos can take the lead with the extra point. McManus comes on, the extra point is good, and the Broncos look like they're going to devastate the Chiefs for the 2nd time this month. But on the first play of the Chiefs drive, it's Henny looking to throw and firing down the seam to Sammy Watkins, who makes the catch, breaks the tackle, and runs away from the Broncos defense before finally being pushed out inside the 20, and after 2 runs milks the clock down to 3 seconds. It's Harrison Butker putting the 26-yard field goal through the post, and the Chiefs steal a win away from the Broncos in a game just as dramatic as their first meeting this year, and ultimately saving Kansas City's season. Patrick Mahomes returns to throw for 181 yards and lead the Chiefs to 2 touchdowns before being injured again, and paving the way for Chad Henne to come in and go 9 of 16 for 219 yards with a touchdown and interception. But the player of the game has to be Sammy Watkins, who in their first matchup had 11 catches for 204 yards, and in this one goes off for 206 more yards receiving on just 6 catches, including that final 58-yarder. The Chiefs avoid falling to 3-5 and get back to 500, and also pull themselves to just 1 game back of the Broncos, who fall to 5-3. Denver heads home hanging their heads to face the 1-7 Texans, while Kansas City goes on the road to face the new look Browns in Cleveland. Whew. All right, guys, so that was a hell of a game. I think I said this the last time I played the Broncos, but that game had a little bit of everything in it in terms of feeling. Obviously, very happy to get the win, because had I lost that game after losing the way I did to Denver the first time, would have just been devastating. And then to add on to the fact that it would have put Denver at 6-2, and then I'd also be at 3-5, with being swept by Denver would have pretty much put the division out of reach. But with the win, we're right back into the thick of things, so that will make the games that I play moving forward more exciting as well. And we're at the halfway point of the season, so not a terrible place to be. But as you guys heard, Patrick Mahomes was injured during that game, and this is a really odd situation, because when Mahomes first got injured, it was with broken ribs, but the injury that he ended up suffering during this game was a sprained ankle, and it said that he was going to return soon, but he obviously never ended up returning. And after the game, I went to the injury report, and basically Mahomes has returned to where he was when he first got injured, which is out for 3 weeks with broken ribs. So I don't know if that's a bug or what, but that really hurts moving forward and really sucks. But we won't be using the big decisions anymore, and he's going to be out for the next 3 games, and we'll be going forward with Henny and maybe even Chase Litton if things get bad. Moving on though, we only had one new negotiation this week, and it was with fullback Anthony Sherman. And as you can see, the negotiations are going to be ongoing, as he rejected a 3-year, $6.6 million deal. He was asking for 3 years, $6.57 million, and I think I bumped his bonus up 1 notch, but he rejected it, stating that the only thing that worked for him was the length. So I may bump things up a little bit, but he's a fullback and he's not exactly a critical part of my offense, so I may just withdraw, but we'll see. And then on to scouting, where we had no new stories again this week, so just guys being added to our board, where we added a pair of defensive tackles in Keon Burfict from Arizona State, and then Jeff Blanchflower from Notre Dame. And I like the look of both of these guys, both 3rd round projections, and then Blanchflower has that 2nd round true talent, but both are guys that I could potentially see myself drafting. And then lastly, we have a left tackle in Sean Clark out of Mississippi State, who also doesn't look bad at all for a late round projection. But with that, it's time to go around the CFM, where we take a look at scores from week 8, where on Thursday night, the Texans picked up their first win of the year with a 28-10 win over the Dolphins. Moving to Sunday, the Jaguars and Eagles played in a game of the week candidate in London, and the Jaguars came away with the win 28-27. The Browns went into Pittsburgh and led the Steelers 42-10 going into the 4th quarter, and established themselves as the team to beat in the AFC North. Redskins get an OT win over the Giants. Seahawks double up the Lions. Bengals also get an OT win over the Bucks. Bears win 24-3 over the Jets. Panthers fall in overtime to the Ravens. Raiders get a 1-point win over the Colts. 49ers win 37-18 over the Cardinals in only the 2nd time a game has finished with that final, the first being a 37-18 Seahawks win over the 49ers in 2016. Packers beat the Rams 24-21 in a huge NFC battle and another game of the week candidate. And then on Sunday night, the Saints avenged the Minneapolis Miracle with a Minneapolis Massacre, beating them 35-14. And then on Monday night, the Patriots take down the Bills by a score of 20-10. So as we look at the AFC standings, the Patriots have full control of the East as the only team over 500 and a 3-game lead over 2nd place. Our next opponent in the Browns also seemingly have control of their division, leading by 1.5 games over the team they just hammered in the Steelers. The South is a much tighter race as the Jaguars sit at the top at 6-2, while the Titans are just a half game back. And then our win over the Broncos really tightens everything up in the West, as we're now a game back of first, a half game back of the Chargers, but still a half game ahead of the Raiders, who for the 7th consecutive video find themselves in last place. Over to the NFC, we see the Eagles leading the East, but the Redskins just 1 win behind at 5-2. The Packers lead the way in the North with a 3-game lead over 2nd place at 6-1. The South is anyone but the Buccaneers to win, and even at 1-6, they may still stand a chance, as the Panthers and Saints are tied for first at 4-3, with the Falcons behind them at 3-1. And then in the West, it's going to be a race between the Seahawks, who are 5-2, and the Rams, who are now 5-3, while the 49ers and Cardinals both sit behind at 3-5 apiece. The AFC Offensive Player of Week 8 comes from our next opponent in Ohio State product Carlos Hyde. Hyde trampled the Steelers defense, rushing for 143 yards on just 19 attempts, which is good for 7.5 yards per carry. Hyde also scored 3 of the Browns' 6 touchdowns as the Browns got a big statement win over the Steelers, winning 42-31. To the NFC side, where the NFL's all-time leading passer takes home the award for Week 8, Drew Brees was 31 of 39, throwing for 347 yards and 3 touchdowns to help the Saints avenge their devastating loss to Minnesota in last year's NFC divisional round and sink the Vikings 35-14 on Sunday. On the defensive side, the AFC Player of the Week also came from the North, and for the second straight week was a Cincinnati Bengal, as strong safety Sean Williams takes home the award. Williams amassed 11 tackles, 1 for loss, and also deflected and picked off a pass to help the Bengals earn their second win of the season and second consecutive win in overtime over the Bucs. On the NFC side, another safety took home the award in the Packers' Clinton Dix. The 21st overall first-round pick out of Alabama only had 4 tackles, but picked off Jared Goff and returned it 51 yards for a touchdown to help the Packers move to 6-1 with a huge road victory over the Los Angeles Rams. As we move to the leaders, a familiar face leads the way in passing yards as Tom Brady tops the list with 2,527 yards passing. Former Niner Alex Smith and current 49er quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo are right behind, and then rounding out the top 5 are Carson Wentz in 4th, who leads Titans quarterback Marcus Mariota by just 1 yard. Moving to passing touchdowns, Tom Brady also continues to lead the way there as well with 23, as he's on pace for a nearly 50-score year. Jimmy Garoppolo and Blake Bortles are behind him, tied for second with 20 apiece, while Carson Wentz is once again 4th with 19, and then in 5th is Seahawks quarterback Russell Wilson with 17 touchdown passes. Ezekiel Elliott had the week off but still maintains a 52-yard lead over the next closest rusher in the Rams' Todd Gurley. Just 10 yards behind Gurley is fellow NFC West running back David Johnson, while Le'Veon Bell sits in 4th, and taking the last spot is the Jaguars' Leonard Fournette with 670 yards rushing. When it comes to touchdowns, Todd Gurley once again leads the way with 9 rushing scores on the year. Carlos Hyde, with his 3-touchdown performance, now has 7 on the year and jumps into the top 5 and into a tie for second with Alvin Kamara and Royce Freeman, while the league's leading rusher is one of many players to have 6 rushing touchdowns. On to the receivers, where when it comes to receptions, Julian Edelman leads the way as the only player with over 50 catches, as he sits at the top with 51. Marquez Valdez-Scantling and Jermaine Kearse sit behind, tied for second with 49, and then last week's leader Rashard Matthews falls to 4th with 47, and Jamison Crowder finishes the reception leader list, but also begins the receiving yards list as he leads the way with 760 yards receiving. Moving up to second with 709 yards on the year, 410 of which have come against the Broncos, is our own Sammy Watkins. Julian Edelman is 11 yards behind him in 3rd, and Jarvis Landry enters the top 5 for the first time of the year, while we have another receiver in the top 5 as Tyreek Hill rounds out the list. When it comes to receiving touchdowns, there's a 4-way tie at the top between tight end Rob Gronkowski of the Patriots and receivers Jamison Crowder of the Redskins, Keelan Cole of the Jaguars, and Bruce Ellington of the Texans, who all have 7 touchdown catches. And then Tyreek Hill rounds out the list as one of 3 players with 6 receiving touchdowns. Moving to the defense, Zach Cunningham is tied for the league lead in tackles along with Mark Barron of the Rams. Behind them is a trio of NFC East defenders with Alec Ogletree of the Giants with 54 tackles, and Nigel Bradham of the Eagles and Sean Lee of the Cowboys behind him, each with 51 tackles. Von Miller recorded a sack against us, giving him 9.5 on the year and putting him at the top of the leaderboard. Khalil Mack sits just a half sack behind with 9, while Joey Bosa's torrid pace has slowed down as he remains with 8 sacks. And with 2 sacks against the Broncos, we see Justin Houston enter the top 5, tied for 4th with the Colts' Jabal Sheard. And then lastly, for the leaders, we have the interceptions, where nothing has changed but the order, as the top 5 remains the same as it was last week, with Casey Hayward leading the way as the only player with 4 interceptions. John Johnson, Terrell Edmonds, Patrick Peterson, and Chris Harris Jr. among others tied with 3 interceptions. Looking forward to week 9, the action kicks off with the Battle of the Bay as the Raiders head to San Francisco. Moving to Sunday, the Bears travel to Buffalo. The 1-6 Buccaneers take on the 4-3 Panthers, and then we have another huge game as we go on the road with Chad Henne looking to go back over 500 as we take on the 6-2 Browns. Jets, Dolphins, Steelers, Ravens, and Lions, Vikings in divisional matchups. Falcons at Redskins as Atlanta tries to keep their playoff hopes alive. Houston at Denver, Chargers head up to Seattle, Rams at Saints, and then on Sunday night, a 99 club matchup as Aaron Rodgers and the 6-1 Packers take on Tom Brady and the 6-2 Patriots at Foxborough, and then on Monday night, Tennessee heads to Dallas to take on the Cowboys. And with that, week 8 is in the books and we get a really big and exciting win over the Broncos. This was one of the more fun and probably one of my favorite videos to make and commentate, so I hope it was worth your time. Join me next video as we continue to face adversity with Chad Henne at quarterback and head into Cleveland looking for another big win against the division leader. But like I said, that's going to do it for week 8. Hope you guys enjoyed the highlights, commentary, and around the league news. And if you did, make sure to join me next video. But until then, thanks for watching.